So we're going to start off by exploring how many solutions does the equation have? How many solutions? Question mark. Go ahead and write that down. How many solutions? Because it turns out that an equation has three possible outcomes when we solve it. Oh, let's see. Got a couple people waiting. Let me get them in, and then we'll continue. Okay. All right. If you're just joining us, we're taking notes. So get your notebooks out and let's continue. So, real important, we can say that a one variable equation has three possible outcomes. A one variable equation has three possible outcomes. Go ahead and write that in. Try to get this a little bigger for you. Okay. So, what are those outcomes? Here they are. We can have one solution, and that's what we've been getting so far. We've had one solution. Every time we get one answer, x equals some number, right? It could be a whole number, it could be an integer, it could be a decimal, it could be a fraction, but it's just a single number. The other possibility is that we can have no solution. And the third possibility is that we have infinite solutions. Okay? So go ahead and write that down, if you would, please. So, most often, these three possible outcomes come into play when we have variables on both sides of our equation. If we have variables on both sides of our equation, that's when we usually run into questions of, well, are we going to have one solution, no solution, or infinite solutions? Okay. Yeah, this is going to be on the YouTube channel. Okay. So let's explore an example that gives us a little of each. Okay. Let's start with one solution, just to kind of reacquaint ourselves. So we're going to solve the following. 3x equals 5x plus 8. Okay, go ahead and write that down. And we're going to solve this, right? And we're going to end up with one solution. So we got variables on both sides. Let's solve it. What do I do? Tell me in the chat, please. What move should I do to solve for x? Okay. Some of you are saying subtract 8. I can do that. It's usually not the first move I want to do when I have variables on both sides. Okay. And then I have kind of Some of you are saying subtract 3x on both sides. Some of you are saying subtract 5x on both sides. I'll subtract 5x only because I'm not afraid of negatives. And I love my variable on the left side of the equation. So that's going to cancel this. Now take a look at what happens though. If I do this, I get 3x minus 5x, that's negative 2x, equals 8. Okay, well, no biggie. Divide by negative 2. And I get an answer. X equals negative 4. How many answers did I come up with? Notice what I'm asking. Not what answer did I come up with. How many answers did I come up with? It came up with one answer. X equals negative 4. That's my answer. But it's only one answer. So this is an example of having one solution. So we only ended up with one solution. X equals something. In this case, negative 4. Okay? So now, let's explore how we get no solution. So now you may be wondering, how is it that you're going to get no answer? Okay. So remember, if I go back and I put negative 4 into the original equation, I'm going to get a true statement at the end, right? I'm going to get 3 times negative 4, that's negative 12. Over here, I'm going to get 5 times negative 4, that's negative 20. But if I add 8, I get negative 12. So I end up with negative 12 equals negative 12, a true statement, a true math sentence. Okay, here's an equation that's going to give me no solution. Okay, you ready? Let's do 5x plus 2 equals 5x plus 8. Let's do that. Take a look at this equation. What do you notice here, guys? Just observe. What are you noticing or wondering? Tell me in the chat, please. What are you noticing or wondering? Okay, Jaime, you're ahead of us, but that's good. Some of you are already predicting what's happening. Okay, and some of you are noticing that I have 5x on both sides, right? On the left side, I have 5x plus 2. On the right side, I have 5x plus 8. Well, let's eliminate the variable on this side by subtracting 5x. Remember what we have to do, though. We have to do the math step. Oh, hold on. We got one more person joining us. Esmeralda. Okay. So Esmeralda, we're taking notes. We just started. So make sure you have your notebook out and continue. If I subtract 5x on the right side, I got to do it on the left side. It's a transformation. It cancels here, but lo and behold, it cancels there. And some of you already pointed out that you end up with this. 2 equals 8. 2 equals 8. What happened? What does that mean? What do you think that means? 2 equals 8. Yeah, that would leave us. Well, we still okay. Someone said that would leave us with 0. We still have something on the left side of the equal sign. We had the 2. We still had something on the side of the equal sign. We had the constant 8. We end up with a math statement, right? We end up with a math statement. So the statement is either true or false. In this case, what do you think? Is it true or false? Is 2 equal to 8, in other words? Does 2 equal 8? No. This is a false statement. Therefore, in math, we use 3 dots in a triangle to represent therefore. So that means therefore, no solution. Boom. If we end up with a false statement like 2 equals 8, basically one number equaling a different number, 2 equals 8, 5 equals 7, -5 equals +5. They could be the same number, but opposite. They're still not equal to each other. 4 equals 16, sure. Basically, different numbers on either side of the equal sign means it's false. Then there's no solution. That means this equation has no answer. There's no number I can put in for x to make this a true statement at the end of the day. Does that make more sense now? But here's the things. What do we have to look out for in order for that to happen? Go back to the original here. What do we need to see in order to get a no solution? What do you think? What should we be out on the look for as we're solving? Because we'll solve a few of these. Someone said the same variable on both sides. 5x on the left, 5x on the right. Yeah, you should be on the lookout for that because they're going to cancel out. Okay? But sometimes you're going to end up with a true statement, which would give you infinite solutions. You want to see what that looks like? That's our third possibility. Let's do that. Here's an equation that's going to give us infinite solutions. What do you notice here on our third example? What are we noticing here? Same on both sides. It's identical. 5x plus 2 on the left side of the equation, 5x plus 2 on the right side of the equation. So eventually, as we're solving these multi-step equations, you may end up with identical terms on both sides. That's going to happen sometimes. And look what happens. I subtract 5x here, which means I have to subtract 5x there. That's because I'm a wonderful teacher and I taught you the right way to solve equations and you know to do that. And you're going to cancel. And you end up with another statement. 2 on the left side equals 2 on the other side. Identical. So now I ask you. Yes. Yeah, that's true. Ask yourself, does 2 equal 2? Is that a true statement? Yes, this time we have a true statement. Therefore, infinite solutions. Okay? Sometimes we call this the identity. It has a different name, identity. And that's because identity is when something's equal to itself, basically. And so 2 equals 2, it's equal to itself. What that means is every number is a solution. You give me any number you want, positive, negative, super big, super small, decimal, fraction, replace x with that number in that equation, it's going to be true. Every number is an answer, is what we're saying there. So here, only one number is an answer in our first example, -4, only one answer. Most of the time, 90% of the time, this is what you'll get. Okay? Then every so often, you're going to get a false statement like -5 equals 17, whatever. That means there's no answer, no solution. Every so often, you're going to get a true statement when the variables cancel. And that means there's infinite solutions. That means every number is an answer. So the bottom line, what's really going on? Okay, here is what's really going on. In the end, we get one answer, no answer, every number is an answer. Okay? And that's the breakdown. That's what it all turns out to be. Any questions? So my answer is 2 or what? Oh, here is the answer 2. No, here every number is an answer. That's a very good question. I'm glad. Okay, so here we only got one answer, guys. -4. Just the one answer. That's what we've been getting before this. Just one solution, whatever x equals. Here in this equation, we got no answer. No number is going to ever work in this equation. Here, because we ended up with a true statement, there's infinite solutions. Every number is an answer. So 2 could be an answer, 7 could be an answer, -2.695 could be an answer. Every single number is going to work in this third equation. Okay? Did that clarify it? Is that answering your question? Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a few equations, and the question we're going to answer is, how many solutions are there? Okay? So let's do this. So you tell me 9c minus 1 equals -1 plus 9c. Okay? Let's say we have this equation, and we want to know, is it one solution, no solutions, or infinite solutions? Okay? So someone already, Jesse already noticed we got identical equations, really. Let's say we don't see that. What does it mean when it's identical on both sides? One solution, no solutions, or infinite solutions? Let's see. Most of you are saying infinite solutions. That's a good catch. Let's see. Let's get rid of, we got variables on both sides. So we run down the things we normally do. Can we distribute? No, we can't distribute. Can I combine terms on either side? Can't combine anything there. I can't combine anything here. Are there variables on both sides? Yes, there are. So now we do that. So we get rid of 9C. But it cancels out on both sides. And I end up with -1 on the left side equals -1 on the right. So this tells me there's infinite solutions. And the symbol for infinity is the lazy 8. Did you guys know this already? That's a symbol for infinity. Okay, let me just point out that this means infinite. It's a lazy 8, basically. Okay, so there, on that one, we determined there's infinite solutions. We ended up with a true statement. Okay, so we're on our way. Let's do another one. Number 2. Let's try this one. 2 minus 4x equals -3 minus 4x. Okay, try that one, please. What do you say? One solution, no solutions, or infinite solutions? What do you think? Okay, Jesse already says no solution. So does Hamilton. So hopefully this is what you're noticing. So you're noticing -4x is identical on both sides. So they're going to go away. And let's see what we end up with. So you run down. Okay, can I distribute? No. Can I combine on either side? No. And no. Do I have variables on both sides? Yes, I do. Can I get rid of it? Let's try. Add 4x on both sides. And I end up with 2 on the left equals -3 on the right. This time that's false. It's not true that 2 equals -3. So therefore there's no solution. No solution this time. Okay? Any questions? All right. Let's move on to the next one. Number 3. Okay? So let's say I have -1 plus 7n equals -1 plus 5n. So go ahead and write that down. -1 plus 7n equals -1 plus 5n. How many solutions? This one's a little different, right? So we do have variables on both sides. Are they the same? Are they identical like we've had before? No, they're not. They're not identical. You got 7n on the left, 5n on the right. Well, let's get rid of variables. Let's eliminate 5n. I like my variables on the left, so I'm going to subtract 5n. Okay? And I end up with negative 1. 7 minus 5 is 2 equals negative 1. So now, what do I do now? I get negative 1 plus 2n equals negative 1. Yeah, I want to get rid of this negative 1 on the left. Okay, so I end up with 2n equals 0. All right, negative 1 and 1 make 0. So, okay, hold on a minute. This looks we've been here before though, right? I got think about your math equation. 2 times something equals 0. So some of you are saying just divide by 2. Some of you are already saying the answer is 0, right? 2 times something equals 0. At this point, you can think it through and get the answer. So if 2 times something equals 0, well, that something has to be 0, right? Because 2 times 0 equals 0. The other way is prove it by dividing by 2. And ask yourself, 0 divided by anything is 0. So we ended up with this answer. What does that mean? How many solutions? Infinite solutions, no solution, or one solution? We got an answer. Anytime you end up with x or n or whatever, the variable equaling something, even 0, it's one solution. So we did end up with one solution. It may be 0, but 0 is a solution, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Any questions? So ready to move on. Do at least one more. So if you're ready, give me a thumbs up, a B or a D. Okay. So let's do a couple more here. So let's do number 4. Okay. Let's say I have, for example, negative 9 times the quantity 5x minus 3 equals negative 26x plus 27 minus 19x. Let's try this. So this is a full-fledged multi-step equation, right? With all the bells and whistles. So normally it's not going to be as obvious as the other ones. It's going to be something like this. And we want to know, is there one solution, no solutions, or infinite solutions? Or basically what we call an identity. Think of your steps. Remember in the previous notes, we talked about the order in which you want to solve an equation. What's the first thing we want to do? Distribute. You see parentheses, distribute. Think of it this way. You're doing the order of operations. You're doing PEMDAS in opposite order. So what has the highest priority in PEMDAS? Parentheses. What do you get rid of first? Parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to distribute -9. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to multiply -9 times 5x. All right, so that's going to give me -45x. -9 times -3. Negative times a negative is a positive. Equals -26x plus 27 minus 19x. Okay? So this is what I did after I distributed. So the first thing is to distribute. I think on the side, because that's what we're going to move towards next, I'm just going to write down what you do. You distribute. Okay? So now look at what we have, guys. -45x plus 27 equals -26x plus 27 minus 19x. What do we do next? It's important that we do this in the right order. On the right side, what can we do on the right side? Combine. So I'm going to write that here. Combine. What can I combine? I can combine, I'll highlight the ones I can combine. -26x and -19x. I can combine those. So what do I get once I combine those? Tell me in the chat what my new equation looks like. What happens next? In the chat, tell me what my equation will be like after I combined -26x and -19x. Okay. I'm going to get -45x plus 27 because nothing changed there. -26 and -29 is -45x plus 27. Yeah. We get identical terms on both sides. At this point, hopefully you're realizing what's that going to mean if it's identical, exactly the same on both sides. We're going to get infinite solutions. Well, let's finish it up to prove that. I'm going to get rid of, at this point, I got variables on both sides. I've combined like terms on either side. So I'm going to add 45x. And they cancel. And I end up with 27 on the left side of the equation. And I'm saying it equals 27. That's true. So therefore, we have infinite solutions again. Any questions? Oh, you know what? I should put here what the step was that we did. Add 45x on both sides. Okay? Since we were describing these steps. All right, any questions? Okay, so on the assignment and on the test, you're going to have some questions where you're going to be asked, how many solutions are there? And this is what you're going to look out for. Okay, if basically it works out to x equals something, you got one solution. If it works out to a nonsense statement, like 2 equals -3, no solutions. If it works out to a true statement, basically the same number on both sides with the equal sign, the identical same number, sign and everything, then you have infinite solutions. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay? Then we're going to move on to something else. We won't forget this. What we're going to do some more of is what we just did here, which is where we describe our steps. Okay? Because that's going to be a big part in the test that you're going to take. You're going to be asked to describe your steps, or you're going to be asked to choose from a list of steps which is the correct step. So I want you to make sure you have some practice with that. So if you're ready to go, let's try this a little bit. We'll do a few examples of that. So if you're ready, give me a B or a D, and we'll do a couple of examples where we're describing our steps. Okay, then. I got to turn my page, so here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to describe the steps in solving the equation. Okay? So let's start off with an equation like this. 4 parentheses 3x plus 2 minus 3x equals 7x plus 40. Okay, write that down. And let's start off. What is our first move? What is the first thing we want to do? What's the first thing we should do? Again, if you have parentheses, you should always distribute. So let's distribute. We're going to distribute 4. So let's go ahead and do that. Multiply 4 into 3x and 2. So that would be 12x plus 8 minus 3x equals 7x plus 40. Okay, so we distributed. What do we move on to now? Tell me in the chat. What's my next move? Okay. Good. Look at each side of your equal sign. So look at the left side of the equal sign. See if you can combine something, and I can. And I can. Look at the right side of the equal sign. See if you can combine something. Looks like I can't. So let's combine. And the things I can combine are 12x and negative 3x. So let's write that down. Combine 12x and negative 3x. And that's going to give me 9x plus 8 equals 7x plus 40. Okay. So now, what's our next move here? What's our next move? Describing the steps. Okay, some of you are wanting to remember, refer to, it's a few pages before this. Some of you are wanting to eliminate constants already. That's not quite what we want to do. Before we do that, look at both sides of the equal sign. Do you have variables on both sides? Yeah, I have variables on both sides. So after you combine on either side of the equal sign, see if there's variables on both sides. If there are, you got to take care of that first. So some of you are saying eliminate 7x, so subtract 7x on both sides. Let's do that. Okay. Over here, 9 take away 7 is 2. 2x plus 8 equals 40. Okay, you with me so far? So now, our next move would be to eliminate the constant, right? Eliminate this constant 8. So subtract 8 from both sides. Let's do that. And that gives us 2x equals 32. Okay, what do we do now? Divide. Okay, divide by 2. So we'll divide 2 on both sides, and we get our final answer. 16. Any questions? So I guess this would be our solution. Okay, let's try one more of these, and we'll call it a day. How's that? So you guys ready to do one more? Give me a B or a D if you're ready to do one more like this. All right. Let's do it. Number 2. Okay. Negative 17, parentheses, negative 5n minus 1 equals 10n plus 17. Let's try it again. What are we doing first? What's our first move here, guys? Distribute what? Distribute negative 17. Let's do it. Let's multiply through by negative 17. Okay? So what does that give us? What's our equation once we distribute it? I want to see what your answers are. Tell me what my next step in the equation would look like. Remembering that 17 times 5 is what? 85? Tell me in the chat, what's my next equation step look like? Ah, you guys are quick. Negative times negative is a positive, so that's 85n. Negative times negative is a positive, plus 17 equals 10n plus 17. Oh, is this going to be one of those no solution or infinite solution things? What do you think? Well, we don't know yet, but what do you think? Is that going to happen? Possibly. Someone said possibly. You're hedging your bets. Okay, let's wait till the end and see. I'm with you. Let's not just jump to conclusions. Okay, what's our next step? What's our next step? Ooh, good catch, Jesse. Yeah. Okay. Check on each side to see if you can combine like terms. I can't combine on the left. I can't combine on the right. So skip that move. Check on both sides. Do we have variables on both sides? I do. So let's eliminate that. So basically subtract. I'll do 10n on both sides. So let me do that. Negative 10n. And that gives me 75n. That's 75n. Sorry about that. Ugly 75. Okay, some of you have gotten to that answer before me. Okay, so now I have a two-step equation. Eliminate this constant, the 17, by subtracting it. So subtract 17 on both sides. Let me do that. And I get 75n equals 0, because canceled out over there too. And some of you are already saying divide, and you get n equals 0. N turns out to be 0 divided by 75, which is just 0. Okay, so that's my solution. And there you go. Colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado. We got our answer. Okay, so that is it for the notes. Okay.